I'm at a Christmas tree farm with my family. They're not pictured, but I promise they exist. But I really wanted to talk about the Rental family, so I'm going to do this quickly. This is my brief description and review. You can like, comment, subscribe, share. But if anything, just see this movie in whatever way possible. I think it's very powerful and effective, especially around holiday season. Some people have, loneliness they're combating, grief and tragedy that they've endured that like really triggers them around the holiday season. This is good for that. This is good to help you feel things in an emotionally intelligent way. And I just can't speak highly enough about this movie. Here's my description. Philip Brendan Fraser is an American actor who has found mild success as a TV commercial actor in Japan. His career takes a dramatic turn when he's contracted to work for a Japanese agency that hires actors to serve as stand-ins in various aspects of people's personal lives. For example, a client may hire you as their best friend or as a date to impress their parents. The two primary plot points involve Philip performing a lot of P's there, a lot of alliteration. Involve Philip performing as a young girl's formerly estranged father and a journalist interviewing an aged actor. The Rental family explores how powerful people's needs for community and affection can be, while simultaneously addressing if it's ethical for a paid actor to fill that emotional void. I adored every minute of this movie. I cried, I think, 4 times in it. That's the most I've cried in a movie in my entire life. I would say I cried like more quantity of tears and no quality of tears. Like the amount of tears I cried watching Interstellar were more, but I cried more often during this movie, if that makes sense. But it's just so emotionally driven. Like you just find yourself being a bit of a voyeur, peering into people's lives, seeing how tragedy and loneliness and grief can create desperation amongst us as a species. So you have people out there in this movie, but also in our real lives, of course, that are like paying people to be their dates. You need companionship and affection. You want to go out to a Christmas party, you don't have a date, you want to feel like you fit in, you hire an actor. But in this context, you can also hire an actor on someone else's behalf. So one of the plot points here is that a mother that wants to get her daughter into a special school in Japan, she needs to have a partner by her side during the interview process for the school to accept the daughter. So she hires Brendan Fraser, and he is, playing the part of the girl's estranged father. But like in that, the girl is not aware that this is not her father. So there's this complex, maybe somewhat complex dilemma here where it's like, he's trying to do her a solid, meaning the mom. But in that process, you're really going to shred an emotionally vulnerable child because you're about to step into her life, mean something to her, then walk away, and it's not fair to do that. So we kind of explore the complexity of this role. Are you a good person if you're pretending to be there for somebody knowing you're going to walk away? Or are you a bad person because you're going to walk away? I mean, it's just very complex. This film looks good. Like from the first shot, I was like, this is going to be an engaging movie. They do a good job of showing you Japanese culture. Like it's not very, it's not like straight up, oh, we're in Tokyo. It's just like there's a parade that's happening and there's a mask and it's all interesting. And then you see how some of the school culture goes. There's a day where you get to see the kids interact with their parents in a school classroom setting. And then there's also moments where you're just like watching Brendan Fraser get sushi, and you're just kind of engulfed in Japanese culture, but it's not too heavy-handed. It doesn't like feel distracting. It's just like he has lived in Japan for 7 years, and you can see he has places he likes to visit, and you can see he's among the community but not of the community. And that's somewhat a talking point because there are moments where I think there's actually even a quote where one of the characters says you can live in Japan for 100 years and you have more questions than answers. Like there are some intricacies about Japanese culture that Brendan doesn't get. Some of those you might deem as wrong from like a Western perspective. Like, the school system this kid's trying to get into is more about like fitting into the mold of the school than it is about her individualistic personality. And that could be conflicting because Brendan Fraser, who's not even her dad, is like, she's a brilliant kid. You should take advantage of the fact that that's a brilliant kid and allow them to grow under your tutelage. But then the school system is more rigid and restrictive. Anyway, the point is you get to kind of diagnose some things about Japanese culture that may not make sense to our American minds, while also respecting the culture and also understanding that in this world, despite it being a Japanese movie taking place in Japan, you can see parallels to like American life, like the loneliness epidemic that a lot of people are experiencing in our country, and how there are a lot of people. I mean, I've never partook in this service, but I've heard that there are like a lot of men that hire escorts or whatever to feel companionship, not necessarily for sexual purposes, but like they literally just want to sit and talk to somebody. these are issues that kind of plague our society, and this is a cool service. I don't know if it actually exists as like forthcoming as this is, but it's cool that this is explored in a movie like this. And the reason why it's a tearjerker is because you get attached to a kid who, you know, is getting attached to a person that you know is going to walk away. You're getting attached to an older man who his best days are long behind him, and this new companion comes into his life, and that companion has value because his companion is like liberating him in a way. Like Brendan Fraser is playing the part of a journalist intrigued about the actor's career and personal life, and the actor gets to kind of relive things as he experiences dementia. He gets to relive certain aspects of his life. And it's just very beautiful and charming. I think this is a 10 out of 10 for me. You know, I've given a lot of movies a 10 out of 10 this year. I think it's been a great year for film. I think this one will always stand out because it just makes you feel more than a lot of movies have made you feel in recent years. So like Life of Chuck for me is perfect. This is up there with that in terms of how human it feels. And I think you should see it as soon as you can. And yeah, great movie.